QT Dub, what it is, man? What it is? What is going on?
What up, Wiz? JR, man? What's happening with you, yo? On a Tuesday morning, man. Appreciate you having me by. What's happening?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. We about to kick off this this morning show. You know, the skinny title working, but this has been a long time coming with me and the homie QT Dub. You know, the co-host here, as you can see his name there. And guys, we coming at y'all live from Atlanta, to be specific. You know, I'm here in Buckhead. He's here in Smyrna, which, you know, both two beautiful places.
Yup.
We gonna chop it up with y'all this morning.
Yes, sir.
Cover a few things, kick some game to everybody. So some housekeeping rules before we get into it, guys. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, subscribe to QT Dub's channel, The Independent Mail, which is in the description of this video.
It
is. Click that. You know what I mean? This is going to be great. This is going to be outstanding. I don't have the that upbeat energy like you got. You know, you got that radio show, which I should have let you introduce it so you can kind of bring y'all in. But hey, it's a good day, guys. It's Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? We coming up on May. You know, things have been great. We got a lot going on, right? A lot of stuff that we're going to discuss, right?
Seriously, man. Like you just said, we're coming up on May.
Yeah.
Dog, we just said Happy New Year.
Right.
We just said Happy New Year, man. I don't know about, I feel like everybody's probably feeling it the same way, man. This year is flying by, man. And like, you know, I came here, 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I moved back to Atlanta from Denver because my daughter was starting high school.
Mm-hmm.
Graduation next month.
Right. And now you about to head back.
Yep. Just like that. So, and a lot, hey man, so get into the skinny, man. Like we said, 2025 has been ridiculous. I know before you get into all of that, you want to let people around the fair city of the Atlanta metropolitan area, you want to keep them in the know. What kind of day we got going on today? What the weather gonna be like? Well, give us the skinny right quick, Mr. Wisdom.
Man, listen, before we get into that weather, which I'm gonna jump right into it, guys. If this is also gonna be a live call-in show, so feel free to click in if you guys want to share your thoughts on any of the topics. It's pinned below in blue. But anyway, back to Atlanta, man. You guys see the background here. It's cloudy out here. It is currently 65 degrees in this beautiful city of Atlanta in the Peach State. You know what I mean? We live here off of Peachtree and Piedmont right now. You know, it's supposed to be
you in the heart.
Huh?
You in the heart of Buckhead, baby.
Yeah. We got Phipps behind us. You know what I mean? So, it's 65 degrees outside currently. We're supposed to be having some thunderstorms. I don't know. But we're supposed to be having a high of 81, 82 around, 3 o'clock this afternoon. What I guess it's going to clear up here later. But, all in all, pretty warm day. I walked outside briefly. Not bad if I do say so myself. How's it out there in northwest out there in Smyrna?
Yeah, up here in Cobb. Up here, as they say, up in Snob County, up here on the north side of things, it's super cloudy up here. Like I know it's gonna storm at some point. So yeah, it's not as it looks more clear where you are than up here. It's definitely it's gray, very gray around these parts.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna make it a great day regardless, guys. Go ahead and drop your I forgot to mention. Go ahead and drop your age, sex, location below, gender,
where
whatever you're identifying as.
Where you at? You in the metro? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You on the East Coast? You New York? You West Coast of the sun? Let us know.
For real, especially if you're in Atlanta, go ahead and check in. Let me know where you guys are at. You know what I mean? But Dub, I want to jump straight into this topic you sent me, man, about this teacher. Speaking of Atlanta, this young lady who happened to be a part of that community.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was quite interesting when you sent it to me because, I discussed this a lot, or, the stud muffin stuff a lot. And, it's kind of like been the go-to for a lot of women. But, there's a lot of issues that come with same-sex relationships, specifically lesbian relationships.
Yes.
And the fact that, there's a high rate of domestic violence with these relationships as well. And you got two women, getting into it. So with that being said, man, this young lady, she's a teacher in Fulton County, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elementary school teacher. And
beloved.
You said beloved?
Yeah.
Yeah, beloved. 25 years old. Right? And the stud muffin she was dealing with, what was it? Did you read the article? Because I'm gonna be before we even pull it up, what was your take on it?
I did. So in a nutshell, like you said, 25-year-old school teacher, South Fulton County, beloved by our students, the community, the school, everything, was in this relationship, like you said, with this other young lady that was the stud in this relationship. A little bit of the backstory: the young lady that was the victim, her parents actually took the stud in, so like she was fully embraced by her family, everything, and all of that. And they didn't get into details what the altercation was about, but they had gotten into something earlier that day, like many couples do. And then the teacher ended up losing her life behind it. The stud lady ended up shooting her. And
now, what
the reason you said, go ahead. Well, I was just saying, the reason I sent this article over to you, because again, I know your space, you know, a male advocacy space, a lot of for improvement, relationship advice, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And I know oftentimes, and I'm not saying that there's not reasons for it, but I do believe that it's super hyped up, where you will have an event where, well, if you were trapped in the woods, well, who would you rather have show up, a man or a bear? You know, you get all of these ladies like so quick to say bear, like it's some kind of badge of honor to be able to say that so quickly, you know, and so, you know, nonchalantly. And then you pointed out that the female on female relationship has a high rate of domestic violence.
Yes,
that is accurate. But what is also accurate and more specific is, of all demographics, heterosexual, male on male, female on female, they have the highest level of domestic violence, according to the data. So where the men or the bears there?
That shit is just so crazy when they always say that bear stuff, knowing that that's not that's just, like you said, it's just trying to make it seem like men are that bad. You know what I mean? Come on.
And my thing is, like, are there levels of quote unquote toxic masculinity? Yes, but there's levels of toxic everything. And I feel like they over the past decade or so, that has just been overhyped, like to where they've made anything masculine toxic. So that's where the whole bear thing comes in. If you do anything bear, I'd rather have the bear.
Right.
So in this case, there was no man or a bear, and this young lady lost her life.
Right. And here we have her on the screen, Kaylin, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, Colin or Kaylin Jackson. Right here. Is a photo of her, and we go back up here to the stud muffin, if you will. Looks very angry and irate. Janai Colbert. You know, I just don't get, like, and I get with men and women, but domestic, when you get to that point where you that angry, where you gotta pop a cap in somebody's ass, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro.
I don't this is somebody you're supposed to be in love with or sleeping with, you know what I mean?
And really what I want you to do is I want you to really assess the situation as only JR Wisdom would, because let's change the stud to a dude. Right. Let's make this a hetero relationship. What made that dude that angry to do that? Right. It's something that you say all the time. Scarcity mindset.
For sure.
Scarcity mindset. I can't get anything as good as you ever again. And if I cannot have you, fill in the blank.
We got to take you out of here.
Nobody will.
Yeah. We got to get you up out of here.
So that's what they did. That's what they did. That's what they did. They had a scarcity mindset. This young lady was the best thing smoking in their lives, and it looked like it was jeopardized. So like, yo, you out of here. I can't have you. Nobody will. Yeah, but now the only other thing with this is, where's the coverage? Because see, every time a guy does this, and then does the whole, oh, I don't know where she is. Somebody help me find her. Oh, I can't find my wife. Oh, the media jumps all over it. It's blown up as it should be, I'd say. I mean, somebody's life was lost. But then, here comes the male bear bashing. So my thing is, this isn't the first time this happens all the time. We had we had WNBA lady arrested last year for the Aces, knocking the hell out of her partner at the time. And my thing is, these things get reported, they're police reports, they're public record, and for some reason, news agencies don't stay on those things like they do when we do it.
Right.
So that helps bolster the bear conversation, because we're the only ones that we see doing it all the time. So that's why I brought that to your attention.
Got you. I'm gonna play this clip because I want to hear what they're talking about on the actual clip here. So let's go ahead and get into this clip.
Disfruta todo el verano sin pago.
It stopped. Oh, I was about to say, because I wanted to turn this off. Let's skip the ad.
Huevos.
County teacher has been murdered, expensive. Leaving her students and family heartbroken. Jackson was shot at DeKalb County.
The suspect police have arrested. The victim's family is speaking only with News Edge reporter Rob DiRienzo.
25-year-old Kaylin Jackson was a teacher at Hamilton Holmes Elementary School in East Point. Her shock right now.
I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep because if I go to sleep, it's going to be too real. It's going to be too real.
Police in DeKalb County have arrested 24-year-old Janae Colbert. They say she shot and killed Jackson in their home on Derwin Brown Drive Saturday night.
You took something that held us together.
Jackson's family says she and Colbert were in a relationship. Colbert's been charged with malice murder.
We took her in our home. We made her family.
They were fine, just minutes before it happened.
Michelle Jackson, Kaylin's mom, says right before she was killed on Saturday, she just planned a big celebration of life for her grandmother.
I really appreciate everybody coming out, man. See my phone? Yes. I was typing a message to her. The first part of it to tell her words cannot express how proud I was of change the visit before I got that phone call from my son.
That call was when she learned about what happened to Kaylin. Jackson says her daughter's profession, working in special education and as a cheerleading coach, was her life's passion.
My baby wanted to help kids, especially kids that needed extra guidance.
Her smile was it was infectious.
As Jackson's mother prepares to lay her daughter to rest, she's still trying to process all of this.
I know I need to sleep, I know I need to rest, but I can't do it right now.
Reporting for Fox 5 News, I'm Rob DiRienzo.
And school administrators sent messages home to parents informing them of Jackson's death. They're now offering counseling and grieving students.
So, wow. Yeah. Only thing, I don't want to spend too much time on that. We just talked about it. But what the heck is that sound? Did I close this out? Okay, there we go. Let's close that out. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't want to spend too much time on it. We already, addressed that. But hey, guys, as you just said earlier about the scarcity mindset, if you got to get to the point where you got to put your hands on somebody and it's that toxic, because you got two emotional creatures living together. That's why obviously this goes on, and I got to have my way. Even though you're a stud, you're still a woman. And hey, if you're not listening, or I feel like I'm not getting my way, I'm gonna pull the strap out. Not that strap, but I'm gonna pull the strap out. You know what I'm saying? Not on, yeah. So just go ahead, men and women, just go on. There's always somebody else. You know what I mean? It's that person you're with is not the end all be all, especially if you're arguing and fighting with them and feel like you got to put hands on them. You know what I mean? If it ever gets to that, you got to go. So,
What's that? O'Shea be like, get out.
Yeah. Get up out of here. But yeah, man, let's jump into, I know we were talking offline about the whole Shedeur Sanders situation, right? So you, have you been following that in the news? I know you've been pretty busy.
Yeah, and it was funny we were talking about that because I've been just getting caught up on a lot of things, and I've been seeing a lot of articles go by. And it was actually one of my boys. You met him actually on the show before, Murph, and he was actually telling me that he was just seeing a lot of postings about, you know, Shedeur dropping so far in the draft. If it was a conspiracy or, like you were saying, you know, collusion amongst owners, et cetera, et cetera. And so I have a take on it and an opinion about it, but I want to see your coverage and what you have before I get into what I want to say about it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, everybody, you know, the different sportscasters and commentators, they've been giving their opinions, you know, on it. You know, all the famous ones, you know, Stephen A, Michael Irvin. I don't know, you know, Shannon's been kind of missing for a while.
Well,
you know,
yeah, he's busy. He's busy right now. We'll get to that.
He's busy. But you know, I don't think it's by accident what's going on with what happened to him. You know what I mean? And you know, you have, I think Boomer Esiason, I was reading something earlier. Boomer Esiason
just saw that too.
Yeah, where he was like, Shedeur Sanders has had this entitled mindset, especially when they left from Jackson going to Colorado. You know, having chains on, pulling up in Bentleys and all this stuff to practice.
Louis bags, dripping,
all that stuff. So people have a problem with that. So you have, you know, one of the top 3 quarterbacks, right? And he's not even making it, and they wait until the 5th to draft him, the 5th round. For him to actually be drafted when he, obviously you're thinking he's definitely going to be a shoe-in for the first round. You know what I mean? But
at worst second.
At worst
second.
For sure. So you have that. So it does seem kind of strange that nobody picked him up until this point. And it does seem like some type of collusion amongst the owners when it comes to this. You know what I mean? And I think Michael Irvin was saying, just by him dropping down to the 5th, he lost $50 million. The potential of, you know, 50 million. You know, which is insane. You know what I mean? And I think even with the Browns, him potentially being backup, him not even starting, which I mean,
he's got to go through the depth chart. He got to take it from Deshaun and whoever else they brought in, in. And you know, and there's an opportunity there. To be honest, I see him starting before the end of the year. See, I mean, like a lot of bad, quote unquote, bad things have happened, you know, losing money. The money will be bad. Dropping down to, you know, the 5th round or whatever. It's actually an opportunity now.
Right.
Oh, I was too small. Oh, I held the ball too long. Oh, I was too arrogant. Oh, I was all of these things. But guess what can happen? He can win 5 games next year that nobody even expect him to start. Then what happens? Now,
like a Kaepernick type situation,
but better than Kaepernick.
Yeah.
See, Kaepernick, nobody knew Kaepernick when he came in the league. See, Shedeur had all these expectations drop down. So now that I'm gonna go back to what you were saying, and you were talking about the owners and the Boomer Esiason thing, and this is where everybody was going with the collusion and whatnot. Shedeur, his pops, his family, us as a whole had to be humbled. That's what this is about. This is about humble pie. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? He's the poster child. His family is the namesake of it, and it's for all of us as a community to take a nom 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 good fucking heaping helpings of humble pie. All right, cool, fine. I'm not going to argue all of that. Well, what about your drunk ass Baker Mayfields and Johnny Football, Money Manziel, and all that, you know, all of these other questionable people that may have fallen and not fallen in the draft. I'm not getting ready to do all of that. This is what I wanted to pull out of the whole Shedeur situation. Not that we don't have a valid argument about the collusion and the double standards and why can't he be, you know, brash and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into all of that. You know what I do want to get into?
What's that?
Why the hell are they still playing in the NFL? See, where I'm at now, I'm gonna tell you, I've sort of gotten tired of the athlete and the entertainer still complaining about fucking fairness. When now we have had decades of people making major money that could have established their own leagues. And then you don't have to worry about the Rooney Rule. Did enough black coaches get interviewed? If I can sit down or stand up or whatever doing the flag, if I can wear my chains, if I'm too brash, if you control your infrastructure. But we don't.
Right.
Why not? Ice Cube is a freaking rapper. Big Three League.
Mm-hmm.
How many seasons has it been going on? About 3 or 4? It's televised.
Yes.
You mean to tell me that decades of NFL players couldn't team up with HBCUs and use their stadiums across the freaking country and have the best football talent, and you control all of it? You mean to tell me we can't do that? No, we can't do it because we don't have the discipline to do it. We don't want to risk our money to do it. Invest it, but we'll invest in the strip club and risk getting some chick pregnant that we'll pay for 20 fucking years. We'll do that. So this is why I don't want to hear about the Shedeur argument anymore, because we could have controlled it.
Yeah.
The same way we want to boycott Target over the DEI stuff. It's cool in theory, but we'll be back. Why? Because we don't have any infrastructure. We don't have a black Amazon to fucking order from. It's sad. Malcolm and them talked about this a long time ago. Farrakhan talked about it a long time ago, having our own stuff. I was a kid. I didn't understand why it was going on like that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why. Now I understand why. We don't have any power.
You don't own nothing. Yeah.
We get happy to be elevated as great play parts in somebody else's events.
Yeah.
The NFL should be begging us for Shedeurs because we don't go there. We've been playing in our own league for so long. It's hard for you to get our talent. Same thing with basketball. Same thing with everything else. You have the most talent for all the sports that we decide we want to play, and yet we still want to establish our own league because it takes too much hard work, money, and discipline. We don't want to do that. We'd rather just be like, oh no, he shouldn't have dropped 5 rounds. No, he shouldn't have, but what the fuck are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And I'm done.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. That's all entertainment in general. You know, it's right. The talent's there, but there's no ownership.
Same thing with our entertainment. When we want to cry about Golden Globes and Oscars and all of that stuff, where's your production house? We got one damn production house, Tyler Perry.
And now
out of all of these decades of black star power. Oh, I'm sorry, we got Oprah. But you see what I'm saying? It's not enough of it. It's not big enough. We can't control anything. So then we get mad when Netflix don't play us the same thing they paid somebody else.
Yeah.
Then you do make something and you sell it. BET ain't owned by black folks.
Nah.
When it was, he sold it.
Yep. Interesting. I agree, bro. I definitely agree. You know, and who knows how much longer this is going to go on, you know, with that. But yeah,
it's going to go on until we change it. And that's the secret sauce. When are we going to do that? When are we going to have some brothers and sisters collectively be like, yo, we got to stop this. And this is the only way to do it. Yeah. We got to invest in ourselves. It's no shortcut to it. It's no shortcut to it. We always want to be jealous. And I don't know how to bring this. There's a group of people, because this is a live and I don't want this you know what I'm saying? I don't want this live to get messed up. But there's a group of people that we're always jealous of in the racial Olympics or the oppression Olympics. Because if you say something about this group of people, you will effing pay for it. No matter who you are.
Yeah, definitely don't say nothing.
I'm not. But my thing is, there is a reason for that because they have economic power. They have economic ownership in things because they invested in themselves a long time ago. And that's my point. We need that investment. And we need it today for y'all grandkids. It's too late for us.
Definitely. 100, bro. Well said. You know.
My bad.
Hey.
You know I'll get off on a tangent. That's why you giggling.
Hey, man. Hey, you know, we love this type of passion. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be passionate about what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, I know you. This is the independent male QT Dub, man. So we was talking about offline. You know, what's the latest in politics? I know I was talking about these deportations that you know Trump is handing them out. He's rounding folks up. You know what I mean, left and right. I read something yesterday. I forgot where ICE showed up at. They showed up somewhere. I don't know if it was a nightclub or something. Did you hear something about that? I forgot what.
Wait a minute. I hope you're not talking about in damn Colorado Springs.
Was it Colorado? I know they showed up to a nightclub or something.
Okay, yo. I got it in my email right now because I thought I might do a video on it. You're right. Immigration, Colorado Springs. The reason this is interesting because the state of Colorado is a quote unquote blue state. Like they usually vote for the Democratic president, blah, 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 blah. However, South Colorado is where Colorado Springs is. That is a heavily Republican area.
Okay.
Heavily Republican. And I don't know if you know this representative, or maybe she's a representative named Lauren Boebert. She's the do you know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is?
Absolutely.
Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene is here in Georgia, right?
Yes.
Boebert is kind of like Colorado's version of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay.
Okay. Colorado Springs is her district. This is where that nightclub got raided. All right. Mm-hmm. In said nightclub, this is what the article said. I do not have it, so you can pull it up right now, but I'll send it to you later. You might want it. Anyway, yo, they were like over 100 illegals there, illegal immigrants, right? Mm-hmm. But here's the kicker. Both military and law enforcement were also at the establishment, and some of them were working security.
Yeah.
So in this heavy Republican stronghold that seems to hate illegal immigration so much, had a freaking party. And the thing about it is, this was in a basement of a strip mall. Had basically an illegal speakeasy underground with tons of illegal immigrants and military and law enforcement working security at the place. Oh yeah, and forgot to mention that they were selling drugs and prostitution down there. So you go figure on that.
I knew there had to be some buns distribution.
It was buns down there.
Yeah, I know it had to be. You know,
it was buns down there. So that, I thought that was pretty interesting in that Republican stronghold that seems to, be like build that wall and get them out of here. Y'all was having a grand old time down in the damn basement party.
Absolutely. So let me get your thoughts on this. So what is your thoughts about people being in an uproar, especially, a lot of our black folks getting upset about illegals, in this country being deported?
Oh,
what do you think? Because they're like, they don't, I guess for some reason, a lot of from a liberal standpoint, they're like, well, they don't consider it breaking the law.
Oh,
I don't understand that. You know what I mean? But what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts, me and a shell, you're asking me, is there has to be immigration. And there has to be immigration law for sovereign nations. That's the whole reason for being a bordered nation. Now, my caveat to it is there are ways to carry it out. And there are also ways to have legal immigration, because part of the problem with the legal immigration is that it takes 7 to 9 years to do it.
Correct.
In the quote unquote legal field. So there should be some reform on that aspect. But straight up being like, because it takes so long and it's not as efficient as it should be, then people should just be able to come over.
Right.
The problem is, I don't think there is one super liberal, bleeding heart, I help everybody person that if they wake up at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning and they go downstairs and somebody's just sitting in the living room, they're not going to freak the F out.
Right.
They might grab arms. At very least, they're going to dial 911. You're not going to ask them if they were fleeing something. You're not going to ask them if they're hungry. You're not going to ask them if they was just trying to find a place to work. You want to know why the F are they in your living room at 6 a.m. and you did not authorize them to be there.
Right.
So if you feel that same way about your living room, the same thing has to go for the country, in my opinion. So we have to know who's in here. We have to invite whoever is in here, but we should make a pragmatic, sensible way of being here. And if that means a certain number and it's capped like that per year or whatever, but then so be it. But whatever the law is what the law is. And you have to have accountability and know who's coming in and out of your house. If you don't know who's in and out of your house, you can't control your house.
Yeah, you would think it's common sense. You know what I mean? But in these cases, I bring that up because I see a lot of these on Instagram. I read a lot of comments. You find a lot about, the thought process of a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram when you look at these art. Because I go, probably like you do, I go straight to the comments. It's an overwhelming amount.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because it's true. It's an overwhelming amount of Black women in the comments saying how wrong it is that people are being deported, which is, crazy to me, that aren't supposed to be here in the first place. And then we have another controversial topic here of, 3 children who are U.S. citizens, including one with cancer, deported with their mothers, lawyers and advocacy groups say. And you've heard other things about, what is it? Was it El Salvador? Where the prison is at, where they supposed to be?
What they're doing,
Yeah, and I guess one guy got deported.
And he was a citizen.
Yeah, and he was a citizen. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't really look too much into that story as far as how he was deported, being that he was a citizen. They said they was going to keep his ass.
Well, see, and that's what I was saying in my first statement when I was like, the execution of it. See, you can't be sloppy.
Yes.
And this is where the disconnect happens, and where some people start to feel that some things are disingenuous, right? So where I used the analogy about making sure you know who's in your like you don't want strangers just being in and out of your living room, right? But then once you've established that, this is a guest of my son, right? This is a guest of my son. Now you know that this is not a stranger. This is not somebody that wasn't invited. This is not someone that's not trespassing. Then you act accordingly, right? So we found out in this instance, when I say we, I mean the administration found out that, we made a mistake.
Yeah.
Instead of correcting that mistake, they doubled down on it. So what's the reason for that? And what that does is now that gives you that doubt that any of this was being genuine in the first place. Now it's just about getting rid of all Mexicans. I don't care if you're illegal or not, because why? The action just showed that. The action just showed that, look, I mean, because the one you're talking about, they've got they have judges in this now.
Yes.
And they've ruled that they need to get him back over here, and they haven't done it yet. And see, those types of things, and I'm just saying, that plays into why you see some of what you see in the comment section, because some of the execution doesn't line up with the goodwill aspect of just trying to keep our house in order.
But that's insane. Just think about it though, because this isn't deportation, to my knowledge, isn't an overnight thing. You know what I'm saying? So how the hell you got your due diligence, which is supposed to be due diligence, unless there's some caveat to somebody's citizenship? How do you deport a citizen? You know what I mean?
It sounds like the due diligence aspect isn't being done, or isn't being done very carefully, or it's being ignored.
Right.
It's like you only got those 3 options, and see, none of it looks good on the administration as far as the execution of this.
Right.
Especially once it has been shown that this is a citizen. Like, you should have had whiplash getting him back so fast.
Exactly.
Not fighting it. So that's what I'm saying. That leads into what you're seeing in the comment section.
Yeah.
About how because once you do something with malicious intent, all of it's going to look like that.
Right.
So this is a tricky topic. And then you don't even want to get over the fact that half of the Americans that can't wait to deport everybody, they can't even afford to live in America without them.
Yeah, it would be crazy though. They don't understand that. Just like the war on drugs, man. if all of a sudden the war on drugs was to end, you know what would happen to the stock market and everything else? People don't think about it. Just like everything you just said with the fruits, the farming,
housing,
construction,
yeah,
all this stuff.
Yeah. That new roof you need.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to save up for it now, my friend. If you're waiting on Americans to put it up there, it's gonna cost 3 times as much. You think we gonna sit in the sun on a roof in July? You stupid.
In July, yeah, smoking with all that
tar, bro.
Tar,
hell no.
Yeah, shingles, nah.
Oh, you want a new deck? 3 times as much, my friend.
So it's a necessary evil, I guess. But I guess what I'm getting at is, I hear what you're saying in the comments, but I think when I was reading the comments, it wasn't based upon these type of stories. When you're deporting a citizen, I am totally against that. If you're deporting a citizen, we got some issues right there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I got my passport. You done fingerprinted me. Yeah. I got my passport. Yeah. If I got a passport as a citizen, you know, I got my birth records, birth certificate, and you still got my ass up out of here. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, nah, nah. Like, what are we doing here, man? But what's your thoughts on like this situation right here, where the child is a U.S. citizen by birth, which obviously we're trying to you know, put an end to that, right? Did we pass that? By birthright citizenship?
I don't know if they passed it or not. I think they just proposed it, the administration. But so here's the thing. Under the current situation, when I'm saying current situation, I mean this administration and the law being what the law is, they've done what they were supposed to do. The mom apparently was illegal. Yes. But the kids aren't.
Correct.
So if the kids don't have any legal caregivers here, as opposed to putting them on the state, then where should they go?
That's another conversation. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Now, and that's what I mean by the execution. If the administration decided to make an exception for them, then that would be on the administration. But as the law is on the books, they carried out the way the law is on the books. And are they going to be inclined to make an exception? No. Get them out of here.
Get their ass up out of here.
Yep.
I don't know. It's like you said, there's a lot of nuances to this that really need to, but I think, not to say that other countries don't have, you know, immigration issues, but like to the point where we're at, I think there's a lot more latitude that's offered to people who are migrants.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to other places, you know, I'd be terrified to be in another country legally. You know what I'm saying? But here it's like, bro, you get treated. Hey, here, go get this credit card here, and get you some food. You know what I'm saying? We could take care of you. You good to go. You know what I mean? But other places like, nah, I don't want to. I don't even want a chance.
It's been 60 days. You better hop on a plane and come right back if you want to still be here. But just damn hanging out, nope.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, like, and I've heard and I've seen, you know, TikTok videos from, you know, specifically countries in Africa, for them to just apply to get a visa, a work visa, like the amount of money some of them have to spend for the visa, when you can just, I guess, catch you a flight to Mexico or Canada and
fork it.
Yeah, and just come on up in here. You know what I mean? But it is a spit in the face to everybody else who is waiting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or who is going about it the right way,
or somebody that gets sponsored, by companies or whatever. You know what I mean? Typically the HB1 visa people,
right? But that's what I have an issue with, is the fact that it's just like you're literally breaking the law. You know what I mean? You're breaking the law, and then you get upset the fact that somebody's, you know, enforcing it. You know what I mean? But that's another conversation. I know that's a whole can of worms that we talking about, you know, and this conversation could go on.
And it could, but like you say, if you wake up with somebody in your living room that's not supposed to be there, you ain't gonna be fucking happy about it, no matter how much of a bleeding heart you are. So it's like, if you look at it in that context, then I think you'll be more in line of trying to figure out how to make the immigration process more efficient, but just being like, just let everybody in and out as they please, that you wouldn't do your house like that. So that doesn't make sense.
Got you. I'm gonna we got a caller here. Go ahead and let him in. Hear his thoughts. What you got there, Mr. Leonard?
Leonard, what's happening?
Hey, now the brother that he was talking about with the whatever that boy named football player dude.
Sure.
Now check this out. They got this thing, cause I don't like professional sports like at all. The NFL, I call it niggas for lease. I don't I don't get into professional sports, but I'm right here in Georgia with y'all.
What's
I
up?
turned on Fox 5 News at 10 o'clock. I think it was a Sunday. And I seen something called a UFL. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So it's like, okay, the United Football League. I'm like, wait a minute, it's 2 leagues now?
The XFL used to be, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if they could do that with the UFL, all these doggone multi-millionaire black athletes, they can't make their own league.
Thank you.
Can't make their own league. And then all the hype with the integration of baseball, They didn't let Jackie Robinson into the major leagues because they was trying to bring about integration in baseball. The Negro League parks were jam-packed making money. The doggone
preach.
The other league parks were dismal. You see what I'm saying? And they want to get a piece of that money. It's all about money and a damn thing.
And that's when the invitation came in.
Exactly. That's just like when you had the NBA, and when I was a kid, I know I'm older than you gentlemen here. You had the doggone ABA with the red, white, and blue basketball.
Right. Dr. J and all of them originated.
Dr. J, right. Name me one black kid in the neighborhood that did not have a red, white, and blue basketball.
Yeah.
I had one, and I can't even play basketball. But, I was on the swim team in high school. So, but Dr. J was the Michael Jordan of our era. See, they had their own league. You had the NBA bought their talent. I mean, they're not individually. They bought the whole team. They was like, wait a minute, we just gonna buy the Indiana Pacers, the whole damn team. They bought the whole team. See? So, and like you said, Ice Cube had the doggone three. Yeah, with that one there, man, it's Ice Cube proved it's doable.
Yep, thank you, sir. He sure did.
It's doable, but
he's not even an athlete.
Thank you. It's doable, but do people want to put their money where their mouth is?
Thank you, sir.
No, they want to sit and complain. Yep. And then you got these black folks, and you talk about the immigration thing, man, that burns my butt. I'm trying to say PG-13. That burns my butt out of place, okay? Because I'm like this here. It's this guy out of Chicago that's got a show, and he happened to see somebody's receipt fall out at a store in the hood, right? Grocery shopping. He picked it up, and he went live with that receipt right there. They had like $7,000 on a doggone
card.
Yeah, one of them cards, right? He's like, you can have a single mother with 10 kids, and she don't get this much money a month. But they got these people that ain't from here, don't speak the language, and they getting $5,000 a month each. Come on, son. And I know JR's he's a fellow veteran. Now, I don't know if he's 100% disabled, but if you're 100% total and permanently disabled, your paycheck don't start at no $5,000 damn dollars. It's $38.12 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Right now, if you
maybe.
No, it don't matter. When it comes to veteran disability, your rank don't matter.
Disability.
It's all on what you're rated. So if a new soldier end up someplace and lose their legs, and they go through the process of, they gonna give them $3,812 a month and free health and dental. That's it. Now, these people had $5,000 a month, free health, free dental, and in Chicago, where I'm from, on the east side, they had brothels set up.
Nothing like
they had brothels. They went into these old buildings. Well, not old buildings. Yeah, they old buildings, but they were boarded up buildings that had to be like refurbished. Man, they pulled all the stuff off them buildings, went in there and jerry-rigged them some heat and electricity. Man, they had brothels. Had their own security outside. Don't start none. Won't be none. Yeah.
I need you to land that plane, Leonard.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna land it. And when you was talking about black women being all, no. Black women care about everything on earth but a black man. Everything on earth but a black man. That started in 1974, and y'all brothers fact check me. When women were allowed to establish their own credit without their husband's signature, that's when black women went crazy. They got some money in their pocket and went nuts. I can get my degree. I can get my credit. I can go and do this. I don't need you. There's no other doggone demographic of woman on earth that say she don't need her man other than a lot of these black American women. Not all of them. So don't believe the story of LBJ said you got to put the man out to receive welfare. When I was growing, I was born in 1963. When I was growing up, if you was on welfare, that was like wearing a scarlet letter in the black community. It was a badge of shame. You weren't working hard enough. So, man, I'm enjoying your show. I'm gonna keep on listening because I'm early in the morning here in Georgia, and I'm getting my snack. I'm snacking on some crayfish. I got weird eating habits, but I'm gonna keep listening in. And y'all on point. Y'all doing the you dig right now. I'm loving this. I'm loving all this. Y'all doing the you dig.
Oh, appreciate you, Leonard.
Thank you.
That's the whiz.
Yeah. All right. Peace out.
Later. Shout out to that brother right there.
Shout out to Leonard.
We done talked on that, and we approaching. I was trying to keep this down to the 30 minutes, Mr. Watts, but I guess we approaching an hour, so let's go ahead and we're gonna end this with some entertainment here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I know we was talking about there's a Shannon Sharpe. we didn't really get into Shannon. We talked about Shedeur, but we didn't get into so much. But what's your thoughts on Shannon? What's your thoughts on this situation with the young bunny, the young OnlyFans bunny, and all the stuff that's come out? Which I don't know how closely. I did a video on it. I don't know how closely you've been tracking it about the ins and outs of the story.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Very briefly, I was the day before yesterday years old when I even found out about the nuances of the story. I saw article titles, that was saying something about a lawsuit or whatnot. But like you had noted before, I'm studying for some stuff and trying to get this girl graduated and all this stuff. So, I've been missing some things, but I automatically assumed that it was some kind of ESPN, network type of lawsuit thing. And I didn't think anything of it. And like I said, to the day before yesterday, it was brought to my attention exactly what it was with, like you said, some young bunny, some kind of allegations or whatever. I think of, I'm not down with certain acts, but you're doing them anyway, whatever. I don't really know. But yeah, I just found out about it. And my thing is like I told you earlier, we know as men, we get a little bit more time in the game as far as our ages, right? So we can later in life accumulate a little bit more funds, you know, keep ourselves in shape or whatever.
Correct.
And in our 50s, in the 60s, we can still be out there doing it if we want to, you know, like that. And the one thing I'm taking out of this Shannon situation is something that I've heard the YouTube Unc say. When I say Unc, I mean Uncle O'Shea, the Duke. Shout out to the Duke. Like you say, shout out to the Duke. You're not that special, in the words of the Duke. They don't like you like that, in the words of the Duke. See, if Unc on the network level, Uncle Shay had taken that to heart, he wouldn't be in this situation because he would have kept everything transactional.
Right.
Once you build yourself up as a guy later in life, if someone did not come along with you, there is no reason for relationships or situationships because you're only a come up at that point.
Correct.
Shay is a ridiculously huge come up right now. He didn't think he was going to be. He didn't think this chick was going to extort him. Why? Because he thought he was special. I'm Unc. I'm Big Shay. You see me on TV all the time. I'm built like a truck. I'm Hall of Famer. Ha ha. No, nigga, use a mark. That's what I got out of the situation. I feel for him, but when I say everyone, guys, don't just look at it to be in the comments. Pay attention to this. If someone has not been in the trenches and come along with you to where when you're on the mountaintop, you stay on the mountaintop, you swoop down, have your fun, and you fly back up there. You don't get into these situationships, bro. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And Unc is 56 years old, right? So I'm gonna for those of you who don't know a lot of the details of the story, and this young girl, he met her 2 years ago. She's 20 years old now.
Jesus.
So he met her 2 years ago. OnlyFans girl. I'm not a fan of the bunnies, and I think a lot of people know that. I'm not a fan of the bunnies in any way, shape, or form, right? And to me, already not being a fan of the bunnies and looking at her, I don't even think she's mid. As far as looks wise, she's not even mid. But that's neither here nor there. It's an OnlyFans chick, right? Mm-hmm. We got the homie Marcus in the building. Shout out to Marcus.
What up? What up?
Oh, yeah. She's mid at best, right? Mm-hmm. So you're dealing with this young girl, and then all the text messages are insane. I'm assuming you read the text messages.
I haven't.
Okay.
If you said anything about a text message, you're about to educate me.
Yeah, they put his lawyer put the text messages out. I think her lawyer put the text message some out as well. She kept saying she wants to have this man's big black baby, wants his man gravy, all this stuff like that, want him to dump loads, all this stuff like that. Okay. She kept saying she wants him to put a big black baby in her, right?
Of course.
Yeah. And then she was saying stuff like, basically, and I know we're on the book and YouTube, so I'm gonna try to, talk in metaphors and, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But said my man was backdooring her, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, you know what I mean? He was pounding the Hershey Highway, right? But she was like against it. And this is in the text messages now, right? And she said, she wished that he would have thrown on a raincoat when he was heading down the Hershey Highway.
Kobe.
But he didn't. So she was in pain the next day, right? So all that's in the text messages. You know what I mean? So Buddy was clapping her up, and they actually went through mediation, and he tried to settle for $10 million. $10 million, bro. $10 million. And I'm with Mace. What Mace said,
I thought he didn't want to settle for 10 million originally, and that's how the shit blew up to 50.
It came out she didn't want to settle for 10 million.
Oh.
So basically, like Mace was saying, Mace was like, yo, obviously, whether that be the attorney or whoever, there's a P involved. You know what I mean by a P? A PIMP.
Mm-hmm.
So the P has to get his cut. So 10 million just ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying? So now at this point, she's demanding 50 million, you know, from Good Buddy. And you know, obviously he stepped down from ESPN, but it's like back to back, bro. You dealing with this. Somebody said you should have just got you a Cherokee. You know, when y'all know who, for those of you who've been watching, you know, the films, y'all know who Cherokee is. Cherokee D blank, you know, so
blank.
Yeah, got you a Cherokee, Cherokee. Got you a Cherokee or any of them other ones. You know what I'm saying? But bro, y'all dudes,
I get in a situationship.
Yeah, I can't see myself. You know, you pay the clap, then you send them on the way. You know what I'm saying? You getting them relationships with these girls.
Exactly. That's what we said.
Me, I would be so paranoid, bro. I would have cameras rolling at all times. It's gonna be cameras. You only come into my place. Cameras are gonna be rolling 24/7 in my place, and that's just gonna be that. I'm not doing nothing anywhere else. It's gonna be here. If it is somewhere else, cameras gonna be rolling. You know what I'm saying? We gonna make a movie. No matter where I go at, there's gonna be a movie. So
I hate you ain't got. That's where your Drake come on. We gonna make a movie.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not about to be doing none of that unless the camera's rolling. Because you got too much. When you start getting up there, I know you 56 years old. You want to deal with some young buns. You know, preferably. Obviously, he likes that. And I know you sent me the clip about all these different clips are making their rounds from Monique, as you sent earlier, telling him to get with an older woman, Cat Williams. Warning him about it. You know what I'm saying? Other people, I just can't see myself letting it, you know, you getting taken down off some foolishness, man. But hey, man, it's we'll see what happens on the other end. Those text messages. I mean, they even had the voice thing. I don't know if you heard. Recording. He's like,
yo, bro, I saw somebody make a whole animated cartoon off of the voice. Yeah. So I heard the text messages.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah,
you should know better at a certain age. Things that
seriously,
you know what you shouldn't be doing, man.
But the thing is, though, sometimes the loot and the influence clouds you. Because when everybody around you are making you feel grandiose, then after a while, you're grandiose. She liked me like that.
Yeah.
This is a great situationship. Till it ain't. Which is now.
Yeah. Well, best of wishes to Shay, man.
Mm-hmm. He gonna be all right.
Yeah. So we gonna pivot here because we gotta. I'm gonna try to get out of here soon. We approaching an hour right now. Sinners.
Oh yeah. Tell me about that.
So Sinners, you haven't seen it.
I have not.
Dub has not seen Sinners. For those of you who have seen it, you know, some people are saying it's overrated, even though it had, you know, before it was released, it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think now it's probably like 93 or something like that.
Okay.
But it was 100% ahead of time. I thought it was a dope movie. It's considered a horror movie.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
It's about as horror as Twilight is, I guess.
Oh God!
In my opinion, they got certain thriller, you know, certain jump scares and stuff like that. But you know, it was a dope movie. You know, set during the Prohibition in Mississippi, down in the Mississippi Delta.
Okay.
You know, juke joint. Two twin brothers come from Chicago. They was running with Al Capone. Al Capone, but I'm assuming dealing
something like that.
Yeah. So they came down to their hometown to start a juke joint back up, and you know, mayhem ensues based upon that. So there's a lot of things tied with spirituality and you know, the ancestors and roots and you know, different stuff like that, man. It was a dope ending. You know, the power of music and devil's influence. Like music is a thing of the devil.
Got it.
People say, and how how it affects people, even down to what the 808s and what Kanye. I think Kanye was talking about that a while ago.
Nice.
You know how 808s.
To give you that throb.
And it affecting certain chakras and things like that. Get people to act a certain way. So it kind of hints at stuff like that with Buddy playing the guitar.
Okay.
You know, and as you'll see in there. But yeah, it was
a question. What's the main antagonist or whatever in the movie? What causes the conflict in there that has to be solved or resolved by the end of the movie? What is it?
So the antagonist is obviously, it's no secret that it's a vampire movie.
I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, a damn vampire. All right.
So it's a vampire movie. That's not a spoiler, so because you kind of
I just didn't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On certain trailers, you can see them with the teeth and shit.
Yeah, I hadn't seen a lot of trailers. Okay, cool.
It's basically some white folks show up to try, and this is it. All this is in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling.
Yeah.
A group of white folks show up and try to get inside the juke joint, and some things happen, and they get into the whole thing of the whole lore of vampires. You have to invite a vampire.
Invite them in. Yeah.
It gets into that whole thing, which is in the trailer too.
Okay.
So no spoiler, because that's actually in the trailer, and they actually have a scene of that. So it gets into all that, man. So it was a pretty dope movie, and the fact of one of the leads they chose in there, she's in a lot of she's been in a lot of movies. She's in was it Loki? She's been in Loki. She was in Deadpool. She was that Force. What's the in Marvel, the that they police time?
You know
what I'm talking about?
The Time Force, the ones that was in
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
So the black chick, there's a black chick in there that's like, she's high up in rank in there.
I see her.
Yeah.
She's got a looks like an African name.
Yeah, she is that. She does have an African name. She was in Batman versus Superman. If you've seen Batman versus Superman, she was the one that was testifying against Superman in the courtroom.
I'm looking at the cast now.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of movies, but the fact that I guess some people had an issue because I seen the red pill, it's been making its way around the red pill spaces. You see how they're trying to be this is a DEI hire by bringing her on as a heavyweight, as a BBW, so to speak, a plus size woman being his
I'm just gonna let you finish with that, and I'm not even gonna because I'll turn your live into a 2-hour stream.
No, we finished it up. We're at the end, bro. We just
with this DEI shit.
Yeah,
I mean, some stuff is, but it's like they when I say they, some of these red pill dudes, and when I say red pill, I mean red pill proper.
Yeah,
paint every single thing possible as damn DEI. Everything is. If it's not John Wayne or Clint Eastwood, it's DEI.
They got a problem with everything. Yeah,
a problem with everything. Like, I'm not going to go crazy or whatever. But when I say they have this DEI stuff has gotten everywhere. I saw a Reddit post where a guy was complaining about DEI because Captain Hammond in Dead Space was black.
Yeah.
Just for him being there. He wouldn't come in there being a strong black man, being like, this is how I got to do in the military as a strong. None of that. His sheer presence made it DEI. And that's a video game.
Zach Hammond.
That has seeped into damn video games now. So anyway, good times with DEI. So I'm not surprised you saw that about a movie that was almost an all black cast set in the, how is it like how did they make the DEI connection? Because she was larger than what people are used to looking at.
She wasn't like how they figured a lead should be for Michael B. Jordan. They basically said this Michael B. Jordan, this guy works his ass off to get in shape, and then when we show up being out of shape, and she could just kind of look however she wants to look.
Now, see, you could bring that argument up, but slapping a DEI label on it was stupid. That had nothing to do with DEI.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to say you was placating or pandering to a certain female demographic, then that would have been a viable argument. But just DEI woke. They just fucking parrot goofy ass sayings all the time.
Yeah. Getting woke, putting plus size chicks up in there.
Jesus, man.
But
Captain Hammond is woke.
Yeah. But
did you end up finishing your hardcore Dead Space?
No, man. I'm gonna start back streaming again. That way, if I'm gonna play, at least I'm gonna be live doing it. So at least I can make some kind of coins off of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even if it's like a few pennies.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't. I'm definitely gonna hop on there though.
I hate you not a sports guy. Murph man and I've been on baseball hard lately.
Yeah. Time Variance Authority. Somebody said Time Variance.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, TVA.
Good job, Ninja.
Yeah, the TVA. So she was
TVA.
Like, yeah, I forgot her. I guess she was like the head or something.
I remember. Yep. I remember. Yeah. He said when he worked his ass off, and they gave him a plus sizer.
Yeah, exactly. He gets in shape, and she just shows up being a BBW. That's crazy. He's like, this world. They were like, this world is going crazy. You can just do whatever, and I'm just like, wow, okay. But so let's get into gaming, man. So, I think we got Onimusha 2 coming out here. I don't know if you're much of an Onimusha fan. I
hadn't even played the first one.
Yeah, you
have. Is that another one of those like Sifu, like Ninja Samurai type joints?
So it is, but it's like a Japanese Resident Evil.
Stop.
Better term. So it's a Capcom game. Yeah. So it's Hold on,
bro. What is it called?
Onimusha. I'll pull it up here on the screen.
Yeah, I need to check that out. I mean, you said Resident, I'm in.
Yeah. So it's like for lack of a better term.
I've seen that plenty of times. I didn't know what that. I had no idea it was a horror movie. I mean, a horror game. I thought it was a samurai game.
Yeah, he's a samurai, but it has elements like Resident Evil where you'll see how to set up. He's got fixed angles like like Resident Evil is. So and you level up, things like that. Let me pull up. So they're doing the remake, for lack of a better term, that's coming out. This is Jubei Yagyu. I know I'm talking my shit on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one's coming out, I think the third week of May or something like that. If you're into that.
No, I'm gonna have to go check out the first one so I can be ready for when this second one come out.
Yeah, so that you go through and get that. I'm trying to think what else is coming out for the people that's
As far as big stuff, I know Borderlands 2 comes out. Is it the end of summer or fall? I'm not Borderlands 2, Borderlands 4. You ever check out any of the Borderlands?
Man, I played like the first one. My son or my sons were into that Borderlands. I don't think he plays it anymore, but they was heavy into that stuff. It just got kind of whack for me after a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, after about the third one.
Yeah, it was a game I know that's coming out, man. I can't think of it. I've been seeing the trailers for it that they got coming out, but I can't name nothing right off top. I'm waiting for them to announce this new Resident Evil though.
That's what I thought that's where you was going, because if I understand, it's supposed to be 2 of them.
I think so too.
And but they keeping it tight lid on which one is it going to be. Is it going to be another redo of the first one? Is it going to be Veronica or 5? I think 5 was.
Is it next year? Is the 30th anniversary, right?
I think so. 6. Yep, because it came out in 96.
Yeah.
So 26 would be 30 years, y'all.
So it would make sense, I guess, that
to redo the first one.
Yeah, to do the first one and then put out number 9 or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. So in 9, do they pick up with Rose, or they just starting with somebody different? Because what was it? 7 and 8 were Ethan, and Ethan's dead now, like for sure.
Yeah,
they're dead.
Yeah, those were direct. 8 was a sequel
to 7. Yeah.
So,
and then she had the Rose DLC that came off of 8. With his daughter, right. She turned 16, got the what is it? The metamycete powers or whatever, where she was controlling the fungus shit. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't know what they're gonna do at 9 though. Do they pick up with her? Or did they just start a completely new storyline with some people?
All this stuff is rumors, but I've heard that Leon's going to be the protagonist in it. That's what I heard. Maybe Leon and Jill or something.
And Jill, I think I've been seeing some still pics of those two together a lot. So maybe that is what it is.
So they've been, here we are. We're almost halfway through the year, and they haven't announced anything yet. Even though they posted something about the success of, you probably saw this. Capcom posted it. The success of how many units they sold for the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah,
they had the 9 sideways. Hinting at it or whatever. And I think one of the voice actor, she was at like a Comic-Con, one of those things or whatever. And the dude asked her a question, and she didn't respond, but she just gave him a thumbs up or something like that. Question about her voicing, an upcoming project or something like that. So, I guess, but I can only assume, even though we all know, or at least in my opinion, they should do Code Veronica. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. We gotta do Veronica.
Well overdue, man. But I think that's pretty much it. We got through this. We got through this first morning show. You know what I mean? I know we touch on finance and anything you want to drop. Any game you want to drop on anybody for finance?
Not right now, man. I know this is not going to be the last one of these, so I'll probably, we'll get into some stuff, because I actually want to get your opinion about some finance stuff as well. I've got some things to talk about, but I want to get your opinion on some stuff, and we don't have enough time to get into it right now. But some of it does have to do with your expertise in the housing market. So I do want to get your opinion on some housing outlook stuff, with what we were talking about with tariffs, construction costs, with immigration, things like that, and even programs, right? So with Doge cutting a lot of programs, things like a lot of community buyer 100s and 97s, a lot of those down payment assistance programs that were subsidized by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, some of those things aren't going to be funded. So what does that look like for the future of like first-time home buyers or low-income home buyers that depend on these type of programs? So that's the type of stuff I want to look into the next time we get back and when we're going over some finance stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That sounds like a plan, man. I mean, we'll definitely, hop on that and be covering that. Obviously, probably try to do, the goal is to do a few of these, or maybe a couple, at least definitely once a week. You know what I mean? Yeah. The morning show, and just I didn't even notice that the damn music went off. I thought the shit was looping.
You have to tell it to loop.
It was loop. It was on there for a while. It was on there for 50 minutes. So I don't know what happened, but I guess I must have clicked on something else, man. But that's neither here nor there, man. But guys, it's been a pleasure. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in and everybody who's going to watch the restream. You guys have been great. Make sure you guys follow the Independent Mail, QT Dub here. If you're on YouTube, for sure, go ahead and subscribe right now. Anything else you want to get before we get up out of here, man?
No, man, I appreciate you having me, man. I appreciate Leroy calling in. I appreciate Black Ninja dropping us off with the TVA, because it was escaping our memory. I appreciate anybody that watched. Hey, man, thanks. It's been fun. To the next one. Hopefully it's this week, like Thursday, Friday, whatever. I'm game.
Yeah, definitely.
As long as it's before my black job hours, which is in like 40 minutes.
No, for sure. Now, I'm gonna try to condense it down. I know these can be long-winded, definitely 30 minutes to hit the points, you know what I mean? But this is the first one, and Fall, which I guess kind of, Good Buddy was kind of long-winded. So
it's all for me, it's all good. I got 2 hours before when we start them up at 9, I got 2 hours, so I'm good.
Cool, man. Well, you guys have been great, man. Peace, blessings, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we're gonna catch you guys on the next one. We are out of here. Peace.